And just like that, we are back. It's the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty, Boise. Chris, I want to remind the folks driving around on Saturday, if they see a place or something they're looking at, I looked at a piece, I think it was on Star Lane, and I called Jerry. I just said, hey, can you look it up and see the info? I've been driving by it. Yep, absolutely. Put that together. You're open to that? I mean, I'm talking about right now, today. They're driving in the car and go, all right, let's see what this guy's made of. I want to look at such and now, I know you don't make a habit of saying, yep, you can look at any house you want. You want to have a consultation, but they can reach out to you right now.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And then I was kind of telling Tom before we kind of came on the air here, but we discussed kind of how we're different than your typical single realtor. The way we have it set up is we have it set up as a group or a team, and we all kind of work together. So, basically have me as a director, and we talk about running the business and doing everything. We have Annette's our executive assistant. We have Jerry Kelly, who's a client specialist. We have Travis is a buyer's specialist for us. So, yeah, we definitely have every hole plugged. So we always have someone available. If you want to call anytime, it's no problem. And
don't feel bad I don't call you. Usually when you see my number, you think it's radio related. And Jerry's from Central Idaho, so, I got to give her a Grangeville gal. We talked a little bit about Tom and his land construction group and the stuff that he does. Chris, I love it when you basically say, hey, if I were to recommend Tom to someone, here's what I'd tell them, and just kind of take it from there.
Well, yeah, I do. And I actually, if one of my best friends introduced me to Tom a few years back and kind of watched just how he's progressed and the things he's done. And the one thing I'll tell you about Tom is that, people say, I'll do everything for you. And it's not really what they do. They do a lot of different things. They do landscaping, like we were discussing. They do outdoor lighting. They do holiday lighting as well, which is a big part of their business. Irrigation, installation, repair. They do grade drainage. They do all sorts of things, basically, in the realm of the house and outside and around the house.
So, Tom, I think I was talking to Dennis Schaffner. I said, do you remember the first thing you ever built? Do you remember the first, I guess I would ask you, maybe the first lawn you ever mowed? Were you in high school, or when you said, you know what, I got a knack for this and I like it? Usually it's our mom and dad saying, hey, go earn some money. But what was it for Tom Morton that said, I got a special touch and I like this?
It's probably just feedback from some of the first customers we had that said, we've been down this road, and to find someone that actually understands our vision and kind of knows and can value engineer what we want to do. That's when I said, I'm kind of done being a pilot. I think I want to work outside. So that's kind of when I made the change. I mean, it was just kind of I got to be outside. That's my thing. So.
Yeah, and Tom, I was kind of thinking during the timeout about describing, I guess, your work ethic. I think you met me at 7 or 8 at night, and you said, oh, yeah, I'm still working. I got another place. And this is the guy that owns and runs the thing. He comes in, looks at it. So I'm going to underline what you said about vision, because it's easy for me to go, well, let's cut that out. Well, I think I wanted to put cement around is what I was going to do. We wanted cement curbing because that's what everybody has. And you said, Dave, I want you to think this through, and I'll put cement curbing on, but I want you to think of these different elements that we'd never even thought of before. And it actually, when it was all said and done, I thought, I'm sure glad Tom has the vision. I think that's important, as you said, to build that relationship, but to get your feedback.
Yeah, we've been doing this a while, and in the process, obviously, of doing it, we also have a maintenance division, so we've maintained the property. So I kind of know what works if you're going to maintain your own property. I have suggestions for that, and then if you're going to have another company, but aesthetically, landscaping is in the eye of the beholder. So if you ask my opinion, I'm going to be straightforward with you, and it may not conjure up what you've got in mind, but like you say, there's so many different facets to it that whether it's us or someone else, it pays to have someone that is experienced and has, does what they say they're going to do.
Tom, when you talk about that and you discuss, I'm just looking here at our notes and stuff, and you talk about the custom landscape design portion of your business and how important it is that people go out and they want to do things themselves, which I understand. But for the most part, the way you design stuff as well, you're also looking at the ease of maintenance too. If that's their goal, you can reach that by doing different things. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we'll get plans from an architect, landscape architect, and I'll go through the plans and not change anything. But when I meet with the client, there'll be small differences and it may not be aesthetic changes, but just little things that can kind of value engineer their property and just make it so they'll enjoy it. Stuff that they probably would never notice had we not said it, but the things that I notice when I drive by. So
yeah, and it's right. And I always say this too when we talk about our vendors, Dave, and we bring on here. We talk about the Toms of the world that live in they've been around here a long time. He's been in business 10 years and going on his 11th year next year. But you talk about what he has to bring to the table for somebody like you were discussing, you and Claudia, that tree that you have a pine tree in front of your front window, and you said it's getting too big and stuff, and that's where you want to reach out to Tom and his company and say, hey, look. The land construction group can come out and give us ideas, even though we already have our landscaping in. He can make some decisions for you and show you firsthand what it's going to look like and how you can make those changes.
Tom Morton of the Land Construction Group. It's LandCon, as in construction, landcongroup.com, 463-0690, 463-0690. And Tom, I think Chris put it best when you've got that scenario and I'm always thinking curb appeal. And I don't know, do I top the thing? Do I pull it out? And, immediately we said, well, we got to have Tom come by because it's experience. I mean, I grew up in North Idaho. I'm like, what the heck's a pine tree doing down here? I mean, but where you can look at it and say, hey, maybe we trim it up or maybe we pull it out.
Yeah, there's always options with that kind of thing. You can call a tree company, and a tree company makes their money by getting rid of trees. So that's going to be your answer from them, most likely. There's always options. I mean, you could trim it up, you could, like you say, top it or move it out. If it's not too old or right time of year. It's just it's experience. I mean, and we make our money through relationships. I mean, we don't try to sell somebody right away on something that, is good for us and not good for them. We may not do something for 3 or 4 years after we do an initial bid or something, but we try to create a good relationship with good people, and that's our business.
Well, a good point that he touched on too. It's just like any business, hey, I'm in real estate. Yeah, it's my occupation. That's what I do to feed my family. But you talk about Tom too, but a good point he made with, for example, your scenario. If you call a tree removal company, they're going to remove the tree. That's going to be their pitch to you. But I think what Tom has to bring to the table is if you have some issues in your yard, or if you're talking about doing like an outdoor kitchen or anything from lighting, like you said, to the Christmas lights you want to do this year. He does a fantastic job, and that's the thing. He's going to give you, he's going to listen to your story and what you want, and he's going to kind of give you the scenario, and then start talking price from there.
So, Chris, I'm going to tie the two elements together. I'm ready to sell my home. I call you up. Obviously, you're going to look through the inside of the home, but at the same time, I know kitchens and bathrooms, and I've been working with you a lot. I know that's important, but when people drive by, does your home need to look a certain way to sell it?
It's right up there. I mean, Tom can attest to that too. Some of the work he's done, how he can change the way a house looks, the elevation. But I would say that landscaping and elevation, especially when you're talking about around here, maybe not in some other areas around the country, but when you start talking about here, we seem to have a little bit bigger lots, and you start talking about the landscaping and how much different you can make it look from curb appeal. I think it's number one. I think it's the number one thing that people will look at. And Annette can attest to this, and she's standing in here right now. And we've had people pull up in front of a house before. They're the ones that chose to look at it. They love the kitchen, they love the photos, the virtual tour. You pull up in front of the house, and they won't even go in and see it. And we do our best because we made an appointment to go see them. But that's a big deal, and you start talking about that, Tom. It is a big deal. You discuss.
There's no question. And it's not just the aesthetic, initial aesthetic view of the property. It's we've worked for other realtors, and they got to sell this house or these people are moving in. They've never seen it. The right time of year, you can get your smell senses going on. I mean, as they walk up the sidewalk to their new home, I've seen people just light up. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just like they had no idea. So
yeah,
it was,
they do, and that's exactly. He made a good point. You know, we talk about this resale, and we talk about inventory numbers in the first segment here, and people are not sure. But man, what a time to reach out to a guy like Tom, reach out to our real estate group and get some advice, because you start saying, hey, look, what a great time to sell your house. If we're thinking about selling our house, what a great time. And we talk about the things Tom and Land Construction Group can do to make that house really pop. Even going into the winter.
Yeah, at least get an idea, because you can. Information is knowledge is power. So I mean, if you want to hold more of the cards, give us a call, or any reputable landscape company, and do some research and find out what it's going to cost, or what it can be expected financial burden can be. But yeah, it's a crazy market out there right now, for sure, for us.
Yeah, and I want to touch base a little bit on we talk about going into the wintertime, and the lighting that he does for Christmas, or right after Thanksgiving there. And Tom, touch a little bit about on that, because I think people have the perception that these companies are a lot more expensive. I mean, for example, you talk about these LED lights now that you can buy, and they have 10-year warranties, don't they?
I mean, there's some out there that have lifetime warranties. All of our commercial lighting is usually lifetime warranty, but I think I'm not going to say the first company. I think there was another company in town that did lights, but we started 10 years ago. We started doing holiday lights, and we weren't the best in the beginning, but over the process of everything, we've kind of got the industry locked down as far as product and what to use, what not to use, and design criteria as well, as far as dusk, and then night, and then morning, and
sure.
And we don't just do Christmas lighting. We do like wedding lighting, and any type of event, outdoor temporary lighting.
Well, I think the biggest thing too, and I always tell people that, Dave, this, and I know you're a firm believer in this, do what you're good at. And I watch people try to do like their own lighting or their own landscaping, and you watch and go, if you're an accountant, be an accountant. And it's like, I always tell people, if you're not going to, do your own lighting, which I understand, but you're going to be up on your roof, and you think about all the things that could happen, with electricity and not doing it right.
Yeah, there's been a lot of times I've been up on a roof and thought, I wish I was an accountant right now.
Well, and an interesting stat, and don't ask me why I know this, but 76% of ladder injuries, people falling off ladders, 76% of them are people that put up their Christmas tree lights. So I just look at it and say, why would you want to take that risk? And sorry, Tom, that I'm saying, hey, you're going to go up on my house, but I'm going to let you do that, and I'm going to protect myself. No different than if my back goes out while I'm shoveling dirt and bark or whatever it is.
Well, why are you shoveling dirt?
I can't. That's what my doctor said. He's like, why are you doing that? And it makes a good point. And the other thing is, if I do it, then I got to call you to fix it.
Well, that
right?
We do get
whoops, my bad.
I'll tell you what, about the 15th of December, our phones are ringing off the hook. People that didn't schedule it, or people that want. My husband had a few beers one night and decided to put up the holiday lights, and I need you to come fix him.
We
do a lot of that.
That darn Claudia, I wish she wouldn't have called you that time. Hey, let's take a time out. We'll come back with more. Tom Morton Land Construction Group. You can call Tom if you want during the break, even 463-0690, 463-0690. I can't believe we're talking about Christmas, but shoot, if you want Halloween lights, call this guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Put orange and black lights up. All right, we'll be back in a flash.